Like, let's unpack this. Today, we are diving into the DJI Osmo Nano Standard combo. It's this camera that's supposedly really changing things for modern content creators. So if you're someone who needs that pro quality footage, but, well, you hate lugging around a big camera rig, then this deep dive is definitely for you. We're looking at a review of the Nano, and it seems designed specifically for, like, the vlogger, the traveler, anyone who wants real portability but doesn't want to skimp on the specs.
Exactly. And our sources, they're framing this not just as, a smaller gadget, but something properly engineered. They actually claim it packs in features that rival a much bulkier kit. So our mission today, it's pretty critical, is this combination of portability, smart design, and real capability. Does it actually live up to the hype for you, the creator? We're digging for those specific advantages that make it a real upgrade, not just, a smaller alternative.
Right. Starting with just the physical feel of it, it definitely earns that Nano name. I mean, it's properly pocketable. You can genuinely just slip it into a jacket pocket or a small bag, no problem. But here's something the review pointed out. It doesn't feel cheap or flimsy. There's a solid kind of reassuring weight to it.
Yeah, that reassuring weight is interesting, isn't it? It suggests it's durable, like it could handle being knocked around a bit during travel or action shots. But, did the source touch on whether that weight becomes, like, noticeable? Say you're cycling or running. Does that bit of heft become a distraction compared to, I don't know, some super lightweight action cams?
Actually, the feedback seemed pretty positive on that front. It's apparently weighted just enough to feel stable, but not so much that it causes fatigue or feels like it's dragging when mounted. The people testing it seemed to consistently praise how ready to go it felt. And speaking of ready to go, we have to talk about that magnetic POV cam thing. That seems like a direct answer to a big creator pain point.
Oh, absolutely. This is where the design thinking really shines for the modern workflow. Think about it usually. Hands-free shots mean you're messing with clamps, suction cups, specific helmet mounts. It gets complicated fast. This magnetic approach seems to just bypass all that hassle.
Okay, so if I'm trying to get a unique shot, where does this magnetic thing let me go that a normal clamp mount wouldn't? Like, what's the real difference?
Well, the possibilities seem much wider, and that's the potential game changer. The review mentioned things beyond just sticking it on a chest strap, like quickly sticking it to the side of a car for a low driving shot, or snapping it onto a metal railing for a time lapse you wouldn't normally bother setting up, or even, say, under a skateboard deck for a trick shot. It's about that immediate, almost spontaneous placement without needing a whole bag of different mounts. It kind of shifts the focus from how you mount it to simply where you can stick it.
Right, that flexibility sounds key. Okay, let's move on from the outside and talk about the insides, because here's where it gets really interesting. Usually, small size means compromises on specs, right? But the Nano seems to buck that trend. The review basically called the video performance the real star, highlighting 4K recording at up to 60 frames per second.
Yeah, and the secret sauce there isn't just the resolution or frame rate, it's the sensor they've used. It's got 11.3-inch sensor. Now, for you listening who just wants great-looking video, that number. That's the important bit. Our sources really stress that this sensor is significantly larger than what you typically find crammed into most small vlogging cameras in this class.
Why does that fraction of an inch matter so much for the video quality, though?
Well, it impacts pretty much everything, but it's essentially how it handles light. A bigger sensor captures more light, which gives you two main benefits. First, you get noticeably better fine detail. Things like textures, background details, they don't turn to mush as easily. And second, maybe even more crucial for, say, evening shots or filming indoors, the low-light performance is way better. Shadows keep detail instead of just becoming noisy black blobs.
So DJI didn't just, like, make it small. They actually managed to put a better sensor in there than many competitors in the size range. They sort of shrunk down tech you'd expect in bigger cameras.
Exactly. They've miniaturized higher-end tech and tailored it for this grab-and-go style. And that optimization carries through to the lens, too. It offers a 143-degree wide field of view. The reviews seem really keen on this, calling it brilliant for travel and action stuff.
Okay, but I always worry with wide lenses. Do they get that weird, distorted fisheye look around the edges? Does this 143-degree view avoid that problem?
Apparently, yes, it does. And that points to some clever optical design. They seem to have found that sweet spot wide enough to give you that immersive feel, showing off a landscape or a busy street, but without making everything look super warped and unprofessional. It's a tricky balance, getting that coverage without sacrificing visual quality, especially for travel content where you want things to look good. Okay, so image quality sounds great. But that doesn't mean much if the battery dies after an hour, right? Especially with a demanding sensor like that. We need to talk stamina and workflow. That's super critical for getting content out quickly.
Yeah, that's a really fair point. High-res 4K 60 footage usually eats batteries. DJI claims up to 200 minutes of continuous recording. That sounds impressive. But is that under ideal, like, low-power conditions, or is that actually for 4K 60 use? Those details really matter for planning a shoot day.
Good question. The review did clarify that while hitting the full 200 minutes doing constant 4K 60 might be a stretch, it was closer to maybe 150 minutes in their real-world tests. That baseline figure is still really strong for this camera size. The main takeaway was that the actual usage time comes surprisingly close to what they claim. So for a normal day of shooting on and off, you probably can operate without constantly checking the battery percentage.
That kind of battery life really does make a difference for spontaneous shooting. And when you combine that with the 64 GB of storage included in this standard combo pack, well, it seems like you're set for quite a bit of filming before you even need to think about power banks or transferring files.
And that brings us nicely to the workflow part, especially that Swift content transfer feature they're promoting. That sounds like it could save a lot of time and frustration.
Oh, yeah. This, for me, sounds like the ultimate lifesaver for anyone doing quick turnaround social media stuff. You know, if you've ever been stuck somewhere amazing, waiting like 15 minutes for huge 4K files to slowly transfer via a clunky app. Yeah, the idea of fast transfer is almost heavenly.
Right. It basically cuts out that pre-edit anxiety or post-shoot waiting game. Being able to zap videos straight to your phone quickly without needing cables or waiting ages for processing, that's a big deal for workflow speed.
That quick turnaround is a huge win for immediacy. You could literally shoot something cool, transfer it, do a quick edit on your phone, and get it posted online in, like, minutes. For anyone needing to be timely, that speed is gold.
Definitely. So we've covered clarity, we've covered speed. The third crucial thing for this type of camera is stabilization. And this seems to be where DJI's background really pays off. The source raved about how steady the footage was.
Wait, hang on. So are they basically shrinking down their drone gimbal tech and sticking it inside this tiny camera? Because that feels like a proper leap forward, not just a minor update.
It kind of is, yeah. Because it means you get professional-looking smooth shots without needing extra gear. The review specifically mentioned footage staying incredibly stable even when walking, jogging, or cycling. It pretty much removes the need for a separate gimbal in most everyday shooting situations.
Wow, okay. That simplifies your kit dramatically. But we need the full picture here. Since this is a deep dive, let's not just focus on the good stuff. What were the downsides or complaints the review mentioned?
Right, got to keep it balanced. The review was generally very positive, but it did flag a couple of issues. They might not be deal breakers for everyone, but they're worth knowing.
Okay, what were they?
First up was about that wide lens again. While it's great for big scenes, it's apparently not ideal for very close-up shots. The review mentioned some slight distortion can creep in when you get really near your subject.
That's a critical point. So if your main thing is like detailed close-up work or maybe interviews where even slight facial distortion looks bad, this might not be the right tool.
Precisely. It suggests the camera is really optimized for capturing action and environments, rather than super fine detail right up close to the lens. You'd maybe need something else for that specific job.
Gotcha. And the second complaint?
It was actually about the size itself, ironically. Because it's so nano, the physical controls are also quite small.
Ah, okay. I can see how that could be an issue.
Yeah, if you often film wearing gloves, or maybe just have larger hands, fiddling with tiny buttons could get annoying and slow you down, especially if you need to change settings quickly. So you have to accept that the super compact form comes with a bit of an operational trade-off for some people. But the review did frame these as fairly minor complaints overall when you weigh them against the performance and features. So if we connect this to the bigger picture, what does it all mean? Well, the DJI Osmo Nano seems positioned as a really excellent choice for anyone wanting to seriously upgrade their content creation, but without jumping into, big complex camera systems. It looks like it delivers on image quality with that sensor, it's genuinely portable, and it has those smart features like the magnetic mount and quick transfers that just make life easier.
So what does this all mean? It really sounds like DJI might have actually nailed what creators are looking for in 2025. You get the great stabilization, impressive video quality, decent battery life, all packed into this tiny body. It seems like this should be right at the top of your list if you need a small yet mighty camera for vlogging, travel, action sports, or just capturing everyday life really well. Okay, here's a final thought for you to chew on. Given that they put such a capable sensor, that 11.3-inch one, into this tiny, action-ready body, what other creative uses could that magnetic POV feature unlock that maybe the review didn't talk about? Think beyond the obvious chest mounts or sticking it on a bike, that mix of serious image power and stick it anywhere freedom. Well, it could open up some really unique, spontaneous angles we haven't even thought of yet. That potential for new kinds of shots, that's what makes this feel genuinely exciting.